Hello, peers, parents. Welcome to a review of session 11. So this session is about handling physical bullying and changing a reputation. So last session, we talked about different forms of bullying, and we talked about teasing, which is a verbal bullying. It's less serious, and we talked about handling teasing using the strategy tease the tease. So today we're going to look at physical bullying, and we're going to discuss how this is a much more serious form of bullying, and the strategies that we learned for tease the tease is not going to work in these situations. So, many of our peers, participants that join us are struggling with social relationships and making friends, and with that comes bullying for many of them. So this is a very important topic today. In our session, we're not going to discuss their experiences with bullying, but we're going to discuss bullying in general, what physical bullying looks like, and we're going to give strategies for how to handle bullying. Okay, so we're going to review what bullying is and the different types of bullying. And then we're going to talk directly about physical bullying. What is physical bullying? What does it look like? It is usually in the form of aggression. So hitting, kicking, pushing, shoving, tripping, throwing things, practical jokes, pranking, stealing personal items. So it is quite serious and it is no fun. So how do we avoid this is what we're going to review today. So we're really going to just review some strategies. You have the parent handout that was in our email, and the parent handout lists these strategies for handling bullying. So you're going to have this to review with your participant, and it's very important that you do take the time to review this and discuss, if situations have come up where your participant has been bullied, is being bullied, or may be bullied in the future. These are some things that we can do or do to avoid bullying in the future. So step one is simply avoid the bully. So stay out of reach of the bully. If the bully can't find you, they can't bully you, right? So if it says plan your route. So say you walk to school or go to work and you take a route and you're being bullied and the bully is following you, or there's a particular route where there are bullies on them, we're just going to suggest, take a different route. If you're staying out of the way of the bullies, they can't bully you. All right, lay low when the bully is around, so don't draw attention to yourself. Keep a low profile. Again, if the bully doesn't notice you, they won't bully you. Don't provoke the bully. So this is where some of the strategies that we used last week with teasing and teasing the tease may not or does not typically work for this, because this will actually provoke the bully if they become embarrassed. So do not tease the bully. Don't try to banter with them. This is a very, much more severe situation than being teased. Don't police the bully. So these are keywords that we've used in the past, so our participants are familiar with these words. These are things you want to avoid doing. Don't tell the bully. If they're making minor offenses, go discreetly tell a person on authority, because policing the bully for minor offenses will irritate them and will likely cause more serious bullying. So you can discreetly tell a person of authority if someone's in danger or if there's a problem that may have serious consequences. Don't try to be friends with the bully. So sometimes we do see this where, people think that if I make friends with this bully, then they're going to be nice to me. This will just put you in their path. It will, they'll manipulate you. They'll pretend to be your friends while at the same time continue to bully you. So, bullies are not a good friend choice. They're not kind to you, so they are not a good friend. Hang out with other people. This will help you avoid bullying. Bullies like to pick on people who are by themselves, so they don't want to pick a fight with someone who's with a group. If you're in a group of people, you have people to stand up for you, so it's going to be more difficult to bully you. You'll be less of a target. And stay near people in authority when the bullying is around. The bully won't bother you in front of authority figures. They'll get in trouble if they get caught. They typically like to be discreet about their bullying and doing it where there's no authority around is usually when it happens. Right? Get help from an adult. So your safe people, people in authority, teachers, principals, the dean, counselors, parents. So after we review all of the ways to handle physical bullying, we're going to take some time and have a discussion. We're going to see how much soaked in. We're going to ask some questions, and then we're going to talk more in detail about this. So like I said, you have this in your parent handout. You have all of these ways to handle physical bullying. So part of the homework is to discuss this with your participant, talk about some strategies that they could use, which ones might work best for them in situations that may come up, or if there's situations that they are already facing. And then we're going to go into bad reputations. So what are some things that give people a bad reputation? Are the bullies the only ones that have a bad reputation? So sometimes if we're having a difficult time socializing, it may just be because we stand out, we don't fit in. So standing out and not fitting in with the norm can cause you to have a bad reputation. So sometimes our participants, don't really realize it, but they've created a bad reputation for themselves. And this is why we're struggling to make friends. And this also makes you a target for being bullied. Bullies do generally have bad reputations, but sometimes they actually have a good reputation with their peers. So it makes it a little bit tricky. So we're going to discuss this and what may be causing them to have a bad reputation. So it's not easy to change a bad reputation, but it is doable. So we have some steps here. If we have participants in our sessions, or if one of your participants, if you suspect that they do have a bad reputation and that's why they're having a hard time making friends, or it's making them a target for bullying, we're going to review that today and review some of these steps for changing a bad reputation. So step one, lay low. So, let your reputation die down. Keep a low profile. Don't draw attention to yourself. So hopefully people will forget about you and your reputation that you have already created. This gives you a chance for your reputation to die down. So in the meantime, find friends outside of the place where you have this reputation, and don't try to, pursue friends that aren't working at work or school if you do suspect you have a bad reputation. Follow the crowd. So try to avoid doing the behavior that created the reputation in the first place. Go more along with the norms of the crowd. So if there's a big hint at the bottom, if you're following the rules and steps in peers, you're already following the crowd. If you need to, change your look. So change your look in some noticeable way that will show that you're changing your reputation. This is a physical reputation that you are different. So people will notice if there's something different about you. So, in the end, we'll talk about this all being a choice. And own up to your previous reputation. So people will comment when they notice there's something different about you. You can never convince them that they didn't know who you were before. So don't deny what people are saying about you. Simply own up to your previous reputation. So there's an example here. I know people thought that about me, but I'm different now. And find peers with common interests. So once you've followed these steps, you may then find accepting source of friends with common interests. So, you've let your reputation die down. You started to fit in with the norm more. You've maybe owned up to your bad reputation that you had previously and mentioned that you've changed. You've shown your peers that you've changed. So now we can start finding new peers or peers in our peer groups with common interests. So if you don't follow these steps, it will be difficult to continue to make friends. And again, this is your choice. So following these steps is a personal choice. This is a suggestion. This has worked before, and it typically does work for people who try to change their reputations. So following these steps does not mean you're changing who you are as a person. You're simply creating opportunity for others to get to know you and appreciate who you already are. You do not have to follow any of these steps. But if you want to change your reputation, these are the steps that have been found to be successful. So you also have these steps in your parent handout. So if you know that your participant, has a bad reputation at school, at work, and this is the reason they're having trouble making good friends. Have a chat with them, have a look at this, and think about taking these steps. So we're going to rehearse this, we're going to practice this, we're going to talk more about this, just like we did for ways to handle bullying. So these are the steps: laying low, following the crowd, changing your look, own up to your previous reputation, and then we can find a crowd and a peer group. We're going to continue to practice good sportsmanship because we're going to continue to have get-togethers, so this is a good part of it. We'll play another game to continue to practice this if we have time at the end of our session, and then we will review homework. So I'm just going to switch over here to the parent handout. There you go. So this is your parent handout. You've got the steps here of how to handle bullying. So like I mentioned earlier, please take the time to review this with your participant and discuss things that they may need to use, or if they're being bullied, or what they could use in the future. And then here's the tips for changing a bad reputation. And you've got those in your parent handouts. So the last thing is the homework assignments. They're listed here. So the homework assignments for next week will be to have a friend over for a get-together. So you're going to make an out-of-group call as well, along with that, to organize the get-together. So trade information to find common interest, decide what you're going to do, plan the get-together using all of those steps that we practiced. And then during the get-together, be sure you're being a good sport, you're trading information. Discuss and practice tease the tease. And then discuss and practice the handling bullying and changing your reputation that we discussed in today's session. I think we're also going to do an in-group call to have an in-group get-together, not an in-group call. We're going to get our participants to have an in-group get-together. So we'll plan those groups and let you know at the end of our session. But then again, we're going to leave that up to the participants to make that call and plan the get-together and organize it. And that is the end of session 11. If you have any questions, you can reach out to any of the instructors. You know where to find us, and we will see you in the parent part of our session 11 on Friday.